Good evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV, Baba Bagede Imo TV. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the world news. Buhari seeks greater collaboration against threat in West Africa. Only Professor Akintoye can speak on declaration of Yoruba Nation, YSDM. Vanguard Mental Health Summit, Nigeria ranks first in world cannabis takers. Alleged 885 million naira fraud, court orders arrest of Imo State Deputy Speaker. Still on the headlines, rescuing Nigeria has gone beyond politics, Obi Dirty, spokesman. JTF naps two suspected kidnappers, rescue 3 victims in Ekiti. Gospel singer Sammie Okposo is dead. And to foreign story, UK nurses set for strike action. And in sports, Senegal beat host Qatar, record Africa's first win in the competition. Now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday underscored the need for greater cooperation among neighboring countries with Nigeria to better combat escalating volatilities and multiplities of threats across West Africa and the Sahel. He spoke in Niamey, Niger Republic, at the launch of the French version of his biography, Muhammadu Buhari, The Challenges of Leadership in Nigeria, after inaugurating a 3.8-kilometer length and 160 m wide boulevard named after him by the government of Niger Republic. My remarks will not be complete if I did not mention the escalating volatilities and the multiplicity of threats across our region of West Africa and the Sahel. The evolving nature of the threat we face underlines the need for enhanced coordination. There is no doubt that we have made incremental progress in our collective fight against terrorism and other trans-border crimes. However, a lot remains to be done, especially in the face of renewed effort by violent extremist groups to expand the operations and footholds in West Africa, he said. Noting that ending terrorism and trans-border crimes in the region is achievable, he restated Nigeria's commitment to bilateral as well as multilateral initiatives with neighboring partners such as Niger, Chad, and Cameroon towards realizing these objectives. On the launch of the French version of his biography, he expressed hope that it would serve as a clarion call to emerging leaders across Africa and inspire them to always be guided by the core values of hard work, integrity, and patriotism. Moving to the next story. A Yoruba self-determined under the aegis of the official Yoruba self-determination movement has responded to some claims being circulated that Yoruba Nation has been declared. In its press statement on Wednesday, the Secretary and Directorate of Diplomacy, YSDM, and Press, Kayode Emola, said, "We wish to respond to the claims that Yoruba Nation has been declared." Such claims were circulated widely on multiple social media platforms on 20th November 2022. These claims are false, not only misleading, but having the dangerous potential to destabilize the true and legal root of self-determination. The only person authorized to speak on behalf of the Yoruba self-determination movement is our leader, Professor Banji Akintoye. We therefore caution all Yoruba people to be wary of believing anything reported by other sources. Professor Akintoye will be making the official announcement of the Yoruba Big Rally in the coming weeks through the official website. We urge our faithful Yoruba public to wait patiently for its release. In the meantime, we ask you to be vigilant in your avoidance of being misled by false claims from unauthorized persons. Moving on to the next story. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Marwa, retired, has said that Nigeria was #1 cannabis using country in the world, stating that 10.6 million Nigerians abused the drug. Speaking at the second edition of Vanguard Mental Health Summit, supported by Nine Mobile and Guarantee Trust Bank Limited, Marwa said Nigeria has a serious drug abuse problem. He noted that, I beg your pardon, In case you're just joining, you are watching the world news. Still on the news to come. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Marwa, retired, has said that Nigeria was #1 cannabis-using country in the world, stating that 10.6 million Nigerians abused the drug. Speaking at the second edition of Vanguard Mental Health Summit supported by Nine Mobile and Guarantee Trust Bank Limited, Marwa said that Nigeria has a big drug abuse problem. He noted that the severity of the situation was unknown until the 2018 United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, supported national survey on drug use and health was conducted, leading to worrisome findings. Before then, the drug use profile of Nigeria was sketchy. The survey gave us facts for the first time, and we got to know that Nigeria, as of 2018, had a 14.4% drug use prevalence. That was an eye-opener. The statistics may not mean much at face value, only by comparison with the danger becoming glaring. Moving to the next story. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja on Friday issued warrant for the arrest of the Deputy Speaker of the Imo State House of Assembly, Honorable Amarachi Nwayaun, following his alleged involvement in a 785 million naira fraud. The court, in a ruling that was delivered by Justice Ian Ekpo, directed the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, the Nigeria Police, the Department of State Services, the Nigerian Immigration Services, and the Interpol to arrest the lawmaker on site, anywhere he is cited in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, and produce him before this honorable court or to face the EFCC headquarters, Abuja. The order for Nwayaun's arrest was sequel to an ex parte application dated November 14, which the EFCC brought before the court through its lawyer, Mr. Olariwaju Adeola, in the application marked FHC/ABJ/CS/2124/2024. EFCC told the court that it got an intelligence that the lawmaker had since escaped from the country and is currently hiding in the United States of America, USA. It told the court that the respondent refused to make himself available to respond to a petition that was lodged against him and his company, Sun Gold Estate Limited. According to the EFCC, a firm Aki's Investment Company Limited added a petition that was signed by its lawyers, Mr. A.A. Malik San, and addressed to its chairman, alleged that it had sometime in 2012 entered into a memorandum of understanding MOU with Nwayaun's company to develop an estate comprising of 14 units of 4-bedroom terrace and 1 block of 6 flats on the petitioner's land situated at Mabuchi, Abuja. It told the court that the agreement was that upon the completion of the estate by the respondent, the complainant, who is the owner of the land, will take 40% of the building, while the respondent, being the developer, will take 60% of the building. Moving on to the next story. The chief spokesperson of the Obi Deti campaign, Dr. Yunus Etanko, says rescuing Nigeria, which the Labour Party presidential ticket represents, has gone beyond politics. Speaking on Channels Television Sunrise Daily on Friday, Yunus claimed that the country is going down fast and thus requires every Nigerian to salvage the situation. Also speaking on the support of the Obi Deti ticket by the Babachir Lawal-led Northern APC group based on Ekiti, Yunus said even though Mr. Peter Obi himself has constantly said that no one should vote for him based on his ethnicity or religion, but based on his competency, the Labour Party still appreciates that some people are seeing the light and the beginning to pitch their tent with the party. He faulted the All Progressive Congress APC for casting doubt on the use of the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, arguing that if there is a network to withdraw money from anywhere in the country, there should be no fear about the network for transmitting election results from everywhere in the country. A video shortly.
Don't forget in 2015, we had similar situation where the country was almost divided to a point of pieces. We are talking about rescuing Nigeria, for crying out loud. Are you happy with the situation that we find ourselves? Kayode, are you happy? Nigerians, are they happy? None of us, we are not happy.
Every politician
this is a different scenario. It's not about politics this time around. It's gone beyond politics. It's about this rescuing of this country. We are going down.
A couple of issues to
As a
also
people.
raise, Dr. Tanko. Two issues, really. First is regarding the support. Mr. Babachir Lawal is the most recent. It looks like mixed.
Peter Obi did not project himself from the ethnic background. He didn't at all. He said that don't vote for me because I'm an Igbo man. Don't vote for me because I'm a Christian. Vote for me because I'm a Nigerian.
The Joint Task Force, JTF, comprising combined forces of the military, police, Amotekun Corps and local hunters, said it had arrested 2 suspected kidnappers during a joint operation at Irele Kogi border area in Ekiti State. The combined forces under Operation Eradicate Bandits at the borders of rural adjoining communities, Eborak, recovered part of the 3 million naira collected from the victims. Addressing newsmen in Ado Ekiti on Thursday, the chairman of the adjoining LCVA, Honorable Michael Ogungbemi, disclosed that the suspects were nabbed during a joint operation inside the sprawling forest at Irele Kogi border area. Ogungbemi said the operation was terrific, that the kidnappers hurriedly freed 3 victims from captivity, which provided a lead for the JTF to proceed with the combing operation of all forests in the axis. He said when they knew that the operation was closing in on them, 3 victims in their possessions were suddenly released this afternoon. This further provided a lead for the operation. Part of the money collected from the victims were recovered, and released victims are now in the hospital receiving medical treatment. The JTF also succeeded in apprehending 2 suspects who are now undergoing interrogation and investigation by the police. A school principal, 2 teachers, and a nurse were last week abducted at Irele Ekiti in Ajani Local Council Development Area of Ekiti State and taken to an unknown destination by the gun-wielding abductors. Moving to the next story as regards death of an entertainer. The news was confirmed to Daily Post by a close source. He simply said, Bros is dead, which in local parlance means he died. There are speculations that Okposo slumped and died. Okposo's death comes months after he was embroiled in an adultery scandal. The Well crooner, in a lengthy Instagram page, urged Nigerians to pray for him. He admitted cheating on his wife when he traveled to the US in late 2021. The 51-year-old suspended himself from all ministry work until full restoration as he sought forgiveness from God before his death. Moving on to the foreign story. The Royal College Nursing RCN has confirmed that its members will embark on industrial action in England, Wales and Northern Ireland on December 15th and 20th December. The decision was reached following the refusal of the British government to enter pay talks. BBC reported that nurses across the UK will go on strike for the first time over 2 days in the fortnight before Christmas after ministers rejected their pleas for formal talks over NHS pay. RCN said its members would stage national strikes, the first in its 106-year history, on these 2 days, which would last for 12 hours on both days, most likely between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. The industrial action will severely disrupt care and is likely to be the first in a series of strikes over the winter and into the spring by other NHS staff, including junior doctors and ambulance workers. Finally, on sports. Senegal defeated host Qatar 1-3 in a Group A match at the 2022 World Cup, becoming the first African side to win a game in the tournament. The Teranga Lions lost their first match to the Netherlands, but bounced back on Friday to revive their qualification hopes. Goals from Boulaye Dia, Famara Dio, and Baba Dieng were enough to beat Qatar, who will be eliminated if Group A leaders Netherlands avoid defeats to Ecuador later on Friday this evening. The defeat left bottom side Qatar sweating on results elsewhere if they are to avoid following South Africa in 2010 as only the second World Cup host to bow out after the first round. Their elimination will be confirmed if Ecuador failed to beat the Netherlands later in the day and would make Qatar the first World Cup host to go out after 2 games. Qatar had made a navy start to the tournament in a 2-0 defeat to Ecuador, and they again looked tentative against Senegal. The Asian champions dropped their goalkeeper Saad Al-Sheikh to the bench after his shaky performance in the opener. His replacement, Marshall Basham, did not inspire much confidence in the early stages, flopping at a corner as Senegal pushed for the opening goal. That ends the world news from BGI TV. Before we go, some major headlines. Buhari seeks greater collaboration against threats in West Africa. We also brought to you, only Professor Akintoye can speak on declaration of Yoruba nation. We also brought to you on sports, Senegal beats host Qatar, records Africa first win in the tournaments. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Babagide Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo _22. For advert placement of goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. Good evening.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just listen to BGI TV. BGI TV, you're one in a million.